Okay, folks, some Zerg versus Zerg action coming on right here. Sen currently one up in this best of 3 series against the one and only July Zerg, a powerful opponent. I bring you Sen of the Blue Trucks. He is from Team Fnatic MSI, and he is playing Zerg to the southeast of the Shakuras Plateau versus his opponent July. In the Red Trunks, he is also playing Zerg.
Once again, both players will be scouting each other right at the beginning of the game, having a perfect idea of what is going to go on. So both players will be prepared for each other.
Not a question about that one. A little bit of Overlord action. Incredibly slow, relaxed, lazy Overlord action, but action nonetheless.
I actually preferred it when I was still playing random to scout my opponent, even if he scouted me with an Overlord, because CBC can be a little bit of a coin flippy game, and being able to see what your opponent is doing so early on takes out a lot of risk and a lot of probability, so it becomes more of a standard game where you can actually rely on your skill, but on instead on luck.
July having a look, and Sen having a look. A little bit of a fly past, a nod of mutual respect between these two. You can't see it, that's because, well, to be fair, it's an Overlord. You might not notice, you're not really familiar with their customs.
Overlord's definitely hard to read.
Indeed. I would not like to play an Overlord at poker. That said, that's what they've got 8 eyes, so it requires 4 pairs of sunglasses. Quite expensive when you think about it.
Yeah, but he will make up for it. He is probably pretty smart because he's basically a flying brain.
Yeah, well, he's also psychic, which I think might give him an unfair advantage in any card game, really.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We are needless to say talking bollocks because it's a DBZ, and the first few minutes of it require absolutely no analysis of any description. July Zerg and his opponent Sen starting everything at exactly the same time. It is quite literally a mirror. We could split this map right down the middle and you probably wouldn't know the difference right now.
Yeah, actually everything is exactly on the same second. Extractors are going to be finishing in the same frame of the game.
Yeah, they will. The spawning pool slightly delayed for Sen. Not that that's a huge deal right now. Drone count slightly ahead for Sen, but that's going to change right now. So, you know, Sen very, very slightly ahead in the economy, but it's so small it's barely even worth consideration.
Yeah, everything which is in between 5-second difference doesn't really matter for the game anyways.
No,
At least
really
so
don't.
early when it comes to drones. 5 seconds of a delayed bailing can change the game, but that is not the case yet.
No, absolutely not. Certainly, the more delays that you have, it will add up and things will end up happening to you if you keep delaying things. But to be fair, neither of these guys are actually deliberately delaying things. They're on such a high level, we don't get supply blocks, we don't get nonsense like that. So it's all planned, it's all deliberate. July Zerg in particular plans is built down to the absolute letter. You'll see what he's going to do right here. He gets 100 gas, and then he pulls everything off the extractor. He does this every time. He actually does this in Zerg versus Protoss as well. He was doing it against Mana yesterday. He'll get that, he'll pull everything off gas, and he goes right back onto minerals. He only gets as much gas as he needs to, and actually, that's actually kind of a slipper from July, because he picked up 8 more gas. He rarely ever does that.
Yeah, but that is not a big deal anyways.
No.
He wants to start mining gas later on, like as he started now, so plus 8 gas is just going to make things a little bit faster and a little bit slower when it comes to minerals.
This could be a freebie for July right here, whereas Sen's Overlord is actually going to survive this. This is interesting right now. July drawing himself off the line, and of course Overlord's incredibly slow. Queen's incredibly slow, but Queen's not as slow as Overlord's, and a lost Overlord at this stage could actually be very unfortunate.
Sen is going to be supply blocked, which is a big deal in CBC. It's taking 15 more seconds until he gets his next Overlord out. And yeah, it's gonna damage his economy quite early without doing any damage to July, obviously.
A smart play by July right there. A few Zerglings streaming across the map, and Roach Warren went up immediately for July. No Baneling Nest once again. Sen now going with the mass Zergling for the moment. A few Banelings coming out. That's a mistake there by Sen. The timing is not good, and he's forced to cancel. One of the Zerglings ripped apart by July, and Sen moving to intercept right now. Sen with the numbers advantage, driving his opponent all the way back. And Roach count is well on the way for July Zerg. Spinecrawler coming up by Sen in response.
July is gonna get in there, maybe, but Sen is prepared. He blocked a little bit. His Zerglings are actually running out. Banelings are gonna be on the ramp, but July will see the drone count at the natural.
Excellent defense there by Sen. That detonation wasn't so great, but he was able to save all of his drones, and that's really the main thing. Sen, of course, attacking July's natural, and the Roaches being able to defend that nice and easy.
Both players very close and units lost so far.
You can see it right there. Units killed 5-3. No workers killed for either, and a great little wall off there with the Roaches by July. A good interception. A couple of Zerglings taken out right there. And Sen's going to be forced to take up, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's going for lair. There's no point throwing Banelings at a Roach wall.
Absolutely, but July being far ahead in economy, having, well, now he has only 2 more drones, but pumping out drones himself, looking strong, already having his 2nd gas, throwing down his 3rd gas, and going for lair and evolution chamber himself.
It should be interesting. It could be a longer game. Double Evo Chamber is intriguing, to say the least. July's got a nice little wall off right there. There basically is no way for Sen to currently break that, let's be honest. So both of them sitting back and working on their tech and going for the longer macro game.
And Sen actually has to do something pretty special to come back, because it is so hard to actually catch up in CVC again. And considering he has 4 gas so early on, it might actually be Muta play.
I think it's very likely, honestly. It would make perfect sense at the moment. July going with the double upgrades right here, missile attack and ground carapace. I would expect to see Roaches and possibly Hydralisks at some point. July is a massive fan of the Hydras.
And Sen indeed throws down a Spire. He was actually doing that in another CVC against Naugrim, I believe, being very effective and taking the game by Mutas. A very unusual play, but can definitely work out well.
Yeah. There's no question. However, July Zerg has a tendency to go for Hydras. He's not doing so at the moment. He's actually going in Festers, which should shake things up just a little.
July in a big trouble unless he finds out what's going on and can throw down a lot of Spore Crawlers. But even if he's able to defend his bases with Spore Crawlers, there are about 6 Overlords on the field, and he can take out all of them with Mutas.
That's the real risk, and ZVZ is a game where you do spread your overlords out an awful lot, because usually they don't get shot at unless they get hit by a queen. In this case, that is going to change.
Overseer scouting the main base of Sen, but there are no tech buildings in there, so unless he gets into the natural now, he still has no idea what's going on really.
Hydralisk Den is coming up for July, so this is going to be very, very nice for him, I would think. It should shut down the Mutas quite nicely.
Yeah, he actually did see the Spire on his last turn, so he is prepared for the Muta attack.
3 Spore Crawlers getting thrown down as well, and this is a significant investment right here by Sen, and it could prove to be unfortunate. That said, as you were mentioning earlier, there is the very real possibility of Overlord sniping. July's actually moving a lot of his Overlords back into a defensive posture.
He has to do that. However, Hydras off creep are going to be very slow, and it might be too late for some of them.
That's very true. Evolution Chambers have got themselves sorted out with +1 missile and +1 carapace upgrade. Carapace upgrade particularly may help against those mutas. We've got a couple of infestors coming up as well as the Grooved Spine range upgrade. Infestation pit coming for Sen as well as another Evolution Chamber. And those Mutalisks starting to move in. We've got 9 of them in total, sweeping across, and there's some very vulnerable Overlords over here.
Probably gonna get 4 of them even, and denies the 3rd base by July.
Exceptional.
Sen being in total control of the map now.
Yeah, great timing there by Sen, and that's a free Overlord. See how many more you can take. A couple of Hydras moving in, but as I say, it is only 2 of them, and they're kind of squishy, but what a fungal growth right there. That was a good grab. He could follow that up, a second fungal right there, ripping through the Muta count, and the Hydras will be able to take out most of them.
Nice play by July, taking out 3 Mutalisks, reducing the critical count again.
We can see that there's only 5 on the field right now, which is certainly not enough for anything more than mild harassment, really, on Overlords. And July has pulled his Overlords back. Of course, that meant he had to concede some map control, so I suppose that Sen has a bit of an advantage there.
Having speed links and Mutas, obviously being very mobile on the map. However, Sen is also going for a Hive type, so apparently he wants to go for extremely fast Overlords.
It would make sense. However, July Zerg is having none of that. July Zerg has such a massive army advantage right now. It's 84-46 in his favor. Now, he is lagging behind, certainly, in terms of his drone count, but not enough to really make that up.
However, July does not really have a lot of Hydras. He has a decent amount, but he gotta be careful not to lose his anti-air units. And there's a counter-attack by Sen going into space.
Swarming in right now, and that's a nice wall off there by July Zerg, able to stop those Zerglings from getting into the base. He goes for the minimal line right here as the Roaches retreat, and there's the cleanup. Workers killed, not too many, only 2 in fact, so that was a great defense there by July.
Sen looking weaker and weaker, not really having any army to speak of.
That's going to be problematic. He's going for this tech-heavy approach, which is fine, but not when you have 32 to 100 army supply. I really don't see how Sen can actually stop this next attack, unless he's able to somehow delay it.
Well, he does have a lot of spine crawlers, and spine crawlers plus infestors is pain for any Zerg army, because you're not even gonna get in range of the towers, basically.
Sen is building Ultralisks right now. I just want to point this out. And in the meantime, there's a fungal growth. He grabs some of the roaches, and that's more of a delaying tactic than anything else. Sen will try and hold it as much as possible. This expansion, that's a lot of spine crawlers right there. It's not going to be able to stop it, but it will certainly delay it for long enough. And I think that's what he's looking to do. He may have to sacrifice this base. He doesn't really have a choice in the matter. Spine crawlers taking a lot of fire, and in the meantime, Sen with a counter-attack, looking to try and deny the third base of July. However, July does have a large Hydralisk force moving in, so that's not going to happen. There's a very nice fungal growth right there by Sen, nailing down several Hydralisks, and he's now waiting for Ultras.
Ultras coming out 4 of in the number, but I think Sen started wasting too many units to actually still be able to hold that attack now.
Well, that is a lot of spine crawlers, but probably not enough to actually hold up against this one. He needs to take those Hydras at the back. A good fungal growth would do it, but he doesn't really have any energy on those infestors right now. A couple of infested Terrans coming down. Those spine crawlers are now collapsing. The Ultras are far too late right now. That hive is probably going to go down before they pop out. July Zerg now prosecuting this attack, and 132 armies applied to 55. Sen is not able to stop this right now. The Ultras are still 10 seconds away from completion. If the Ultralists do go up, it might make the difference. There's a fungal growth. That might help. The hive is still up. The Ultras are coming. We've got, what, 5 seconds left on the Ultralisk. Hive taking massive damage right now. I don't think he's going to be able to save it.
No, he's pop out right when the hive dies, but even then, Ultralisks are not too effective. Just by
GG, ladies and gentlemen. It just